turn on it.
We are live, people. We are live.
Good evening to you,
Good
sir.
evening. Good evening.
Kimar Safri, how are you this evening?
She just speaks up on the show.
I good.
Tell you, say when it's not going.
Hey, boy.
Oh, that was not live.
And that was.
Cause your girlfriend got that here tonight.
Oh, shoot. Don't talk about my business. It's not nice.
Don't worry. Don't worry. They got other men book the place available.
Wow.
For the
Available
grabs.
for you?
So this is the debrief, the holiday edition. The holiday edition. Ho ho ho.
We gotta make some mingle tonight.
We are sure to the
We mix some
Sure,
mingle.
bitch.
We on it yet?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do that red light. Yeah.
Yo, yeah.
You guys talking beer nonsense?
Mingle.
Yeah, they did anyway.
Well, the D ain't gonna mix that mingle and nothing.
Did we mix up?
The men won't mingle at all.
No, we do. We have our.
Then there's
work
bars
to
that
do.
probably got parties here. Parties here.
Who?
The bars that probably have the parties here.
A party?
Yeah, you know, it's
The
usually
Prime Minister has a cocktail.
That's wonderful. It'd be nice to.
Be invited?
Yeah, so it'd be nice to be invited to one of those.
I didn't see an invitation, so you know.
You didn't see one? I don't know.
But I know it will be well attended.
Should we?
So Simon, you're formerly the Prime Minister, got a cocktail.
I am not too sure.
Why not?
I know the party we can do our own thing. We can do something at George Street. Like that George Street, have some fun.
That's good.
The man you're gonna come down.
From the shirt in Canada, the party.
I will say
I
that.
can't join you.
I will say that. I will say that.
You feel like he care when he can't take dogs and glasses that shit? He can care.
That is your perception.
No. Let's not bring our biases into the.
Hey, being bad, being real. You really feel
The man in Bryce, not very sure.
German
Before
for
we
real.
start.
You really think that either really serious with party?
Are you sure?
I would say that you got play video games and there's got mistakes were made.
Like you
You
probably
know?
one of the first man that we had as permanent.
Mistakes were made.
Alright, don't.
I won't go there.
Listen,
I can't join you there.
I am gonna
Please.
say.
You don't have to. I said.
I'm gonna say something here, right?
Reception.
Every prime minister must receive his
on the
respect.
night
Or her respect.
on the
I
night
can't respect the people. I can't respect
on the
you.
20, no, hold on. On the 25th of May 2018, the Prime Minister of Barbados elect Mia Amor Motley.
You're not talking about prime minister.
Just hear what I'm
Give
saying,
me the
right?
point so I can start the show.
Just hear what I'm saying. The Prime Minister of Barbados elect Mia Amor Motley on that platform showed true leadership as the Prime Minister the first time on that platform at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Like she said,
not in
cease and settle.
And not only cease and settle, she made the point that regardless of what you think about about former Prime Minister Frandl Street,
No disrespect.
he was still the Prime Minister of this country.
That's right.
And he will be given the respect of a Prime Minister.
That is correct.
And I will say to you, Imani, that he is a former leader of this country. And Frandl once said in Parliament, you can talk about number 6 and you can talk about number 8, but you can never forget number 7.
But you saw this.
I'm saying all that to say to you that is disrespectful for you.
I don't care.
Hold on, no. It's disrespectful for you.
Come on.
We could have skipped for a short.
Let me skip all the right quick. Good afternoon, everybody. We got a lot of people on. We got a lot of people on, guys.
Hi, guys.
First, hold on.
Wait, no.
Man, you mentioned time. You catch my opinion.
Yeah, hello.
A form that is going national.
Man,
Hey,
talking.
you ever realize that you talking
Frandl,
about...
please stop. Frandl, please stop. Please stop talking.
Yeah, but...
I understand, but I don't care.
I know.
Yeah, but you know what?
Someday
I just don't care.
Someday if I was to become
Well, Lord, you still getting on it for those shit?
Mama, they didn't do worse.
Yes.
And I would respect Frandl Stewart, Mayor Motley.
If you do the same shit that he do, Ella can't do the same thing to do face.
Alright, Jeremy.
I will not join you.
I get the point. I want to start the show, please.
You're not Jeremy.
Wait.
I tell you what, friend.
It is
Good afternoon, everyone.
I don't
Welcome
care.
to
We don't have a problem.
what that? Hey, what that?
You did.
No, but I will say what I have to say.
Okay.
You did say.
I can start the show,
It was
please.
boring, but you did say.
Come on.
Can I start the show? Alright, good. So, everyone, welcome to DeBrief. We started pretty heated because the guys were in a heated conversation after. He said what he wanted to say, and another man believed he shouldn't say.
That's right.
That's how I see it. That is true. And, well, they may disagree and agree. We don't mind. I don't mind.
I'm not sure how we get it. You stop there, show you ready?
But we wanted to bring the DeBrief show to you. I'm sorry we didn't come to you. I think we missed last week?
Last
Saturday.
Yeah.
Because it was a bank holiday, of course.
Yeah.
But we also wanted to bring the show to an end.
Yeah, we also want to have belated independence.
Yeah, to everyone, and going forward, we wish to bring more shows
You know,
after the
during
Christmas
the last
season.
couple of years, we didn't feel that independent, but now we starting to feel
Independence all over again.
I know. I
Due to the honorable
Where
for
were you? Where were you when we had the 50th anniversary?
No, your birthday.
Listen.
No, it was for
after
the
all,
public.
you mean after 10 years, the only thing you could really celebrate with the 50th anniversary? God Christ, like,
You know what? You remember that
man.
because message lock away at the on that.
Y'all
Hey,
guys
all you do is
are not
celebrate the
basic,
50th?
sir. No, but I mean it was very.
I guess he wasn't there
It
for
was
the-
very memorable because the country that the party that brought Barbados into independence for the 50th anniversary of our independence was there for 1966.
And you know, it's a pity that the same party that brought us into independence made the Barbadian public feel unindependent
I don't think
over the
so.
past couple of years.
I don't think so. I mean, we were still able to get buses, our garbage was still being collected, so.
We still had a lot of things doing, huh?
Yeah, I'd say a lot of things were still
Fair
going. The
enough.
country, the country was not marking time. The country was still working.
Real corrupt.
I must say
I can
that.
pray for you.
I agree with Waza. You guys need to stop bashing the past.
That's
and
right.
say, welcome, Waza.
Yeah,
you
Waza.
want to
Tell he so. Tell the money. Tell the co-host the money to stop bashing. So-called last 10 years.
While we are on Waza, we really want to thank Waza Goo for
supporting
Breakthrough.
Yeah,
you've been a faithful,
very faithful
viewer, and you always logging on. And we said we really want to thank everyone who made the show
what it is.
Yeah, man. I think we went up to almost 80,000 reaches across our island. So the show has been doing really well. We want to go back. I think we've done so far almost 20 episodes. Yeah, we've done a lot of episodes. Yeah, so
10 weeks.
Over 10 weeks, yeah. So we've done a fair amount of episodes and just been skipping one or two. But the guys have been faithfully coming. We know we started with us by us when we first started, and we went on into bringing in to guests. And one of our first guests would have been that young guy, Mario
Bruce.
Mario Bruce, and I think that
he was very impactful.
Yeah, he should come back. He was really impactful.
Share the testimony and everything.
Yeah, I mean, challenged me as an individual, challenged my mind. So I think he's an asset to bring back into the circle again. And then we went up from there to Scott Weatherhead from the what's it called now?
The People's
PDP.
Party for Democracy.
Our only opposition party in Barbados.
Our recognized opposition party, and it's a breadfruit tree. Breadfruit trees are recognized all over the country.
Yeah.
Right?
I know you eat breadfruit.
Then we had the other guy that we brought on that came on and talked about the data.
Devonish?
George Gill.
No, it wasn't George. The young guy.
Oh, Devron Bruce.
Devron Bruce, right.
He actually did the lecture for the Democratic Party at night.
Oh, he's the D.
Because he did a lecture, he's a D.
That's a question. Let me put question mark at end.
He said, he's a D?
Yeah.
His name starts with D.
But generally, like them, just what they do, he needs,
Yeah.
I
just asking.
Right, and then we had
Verla de Pisa was on.
Oh yeah, that was a wonderful show.
That was
Up to now, I
the
just want to
views
say
went up. The
that
views
Verla
went
Pizza
up.
has not, Verla, you have not announced.
When she is ready, she will announce.
You have
when
not
she's
announced.
We are just saying we need the
Barbados
announcement.
is waiting to hear.
Correct.
You're the president.
Barbados got the money.
Take the book by the horns.
Barbados and
announce
the
your
money.
The
presidency.
book by the horn.
And Kimar.
I just want to say,
Yes, please.
from the most impactful show for me was the one with George Gill, and I'll tell you the reason why. When he spoke at length about the serious issues that.
Who, George Gill?
He's
saying George Gill?
But this is a guy with the garbage?
The Project Recycle.
Oh,
Project
yeah.
Recycle.
Okay.
Waste.
Yeah, because
Waste management.
the reason why I liked that show in particular, for years, we have been hearing from the government of Barbados about the issues that they face with waste management, this country, and Gary Trust and all that. But no one has ever really sat down and discussed it in depth as he did that night.
That's right.
Yeah.
And Simon, I can be fair to you, cause I would hope Sunday you're running. And the man, I don't know if you're gonna run or not. And my good friend Kimar Safri here.
You're running Jermaine, so you know.
I never
Continue, Jermaine.
Oh, you're pointing everybody where I was that. You want my good friend over there running too.
But just say that I can run home. Can't go run from home. Because last year I got hit cat.
Alright, here it is.
Good
When you listen to George that night, you understand that the truth is that all three political parties in Barbados need to get serious.
All three political parties?
Yes.
Who's that?
The Barbados Labour Party, the Democratic Labour Party and the People's Party for Democracy.
So you're looking at UPP, and you're looking at
What shoot?
Barbados?
a solution.
Phillips.
After
The
that
man
one,
has solutions. The man has solutions.
I must say, Greg, they said that Gravel show
like
was
Gravel show
involved.
too.
But no, I will caution y'all guys, it came across to some viewers that you were attacking Mr. Phillips.
He attacked
You were
himself.
setting him up and then you were destroying him. It was as if you had
Hey,
his tail, he was
Hey,
running around the
it's
circle.
not our fault that you come on to a show and you are not ready and prepped to be answering the questions that are
He
pelting
has
at you.
solutions.
And well, he got solutions.
And he
He
gets
did
his
not
stuff
articulate a
something.
lot of his solutions
Stephen
properly.
also has solutions too, but you don't listen to Stephen.
I think Stephen did a very good
Stephen
job.
did a wonderful job, but we got and the thing is too, we had also Rasimba on the show.
Rasimba
So
too.
Very
that was a really good show.
Yeah.
But again, our viewers, we're just going back through the shows that we would have gone and done. I said we've done close to 20 shows or just over. And we're just wrapping down for the Christmas season where we take a break and come back fully next year.
Charged up for
And charged
2020.
up. We got a lot of guests that say that they want to be on the show next year.
That's wonderful.
And you know, for me, I've already reached out to David Commission, who's ambassador to the
CARICOM.
CARICOM. He's definitely
Cami
well
come
think. Cami Holder, Marsha Hines Lane, Delay Worrell,
Oh,
Yeah.
very good, very good.
Dr. Worrell. So
Good afternoon to you, sir. I hope you're watching.
Oh,
you
yes.
said video is not playing. I don't understand what you mean.
Roger Watson?
Roger Watson, the video playing?
Yeah, I'm
You
getting
may need to press play, Roger, because all of us seeing it very well. You gotta press play for the video.
You gotta see.
All right, and don't forget you can share us and like us and follow us. But yeah, these are
I
things.
enjoy Peter Wickham too. One of the
Yeah,
best
yeah,
shows
Peter,
I-
yeah.
I enjoy Peter Wickham because of his objectivity as well. But
His knowledge was
But you know,
better.
knowledge.
you know, for some reason, I will say this to you, right, Simon?
yes, please.
The Democratic Labour Party should never have lost Peter Wickham.
I don't think we've lost him. He will come back to the fold.
Oh please.
We will contract services sometime.
Yeah, but the services you will get.
Damn right.
But Peter no.
Was it Democratic Party? Was it from those shirt?
No, he said.
I can't recall.
He
These
said
feels like
openly
he'll be on
Peter
record.
said that he was a them.
Yeah, he did support the party.
And I did publicly say
I did
I
vote for us
publicly
a couple times.
twice,
He voted for
and
Democrat.
then I vote you out.
At the man, how much times you vote for Democrat Labour Party?
Pardon me?
How many
The
times
only
you
D
vote?
that I
Tell the
vote for,
truth.
the only D that I vote for is the D in the man.
Hello, listen to me. The money is from St. Michael Northeast.
Born and
He's
bred.
well taken care of.
Oh yeah,
Right,
I see.
And I will say this.
He has a botanical garden. You could go and walk in.
I-
He has rose, new well.
Still waiting for saying though.
I will
Yeah, run that,
I will say this openly, right?
You need a stadium.
If there's one, and I'm not talking about Prime Minister, if there's one MP in this country, and Simon, if you're honest, you will admit this.
Go
If
ahead.
there's one MP in this country who does their lot for their constituency, and people can drop down on the road and say, yes, my MP stands up for me, one, and looks out for my interests, it is Mia Amor Martin.
It's true.
Because she understands, and you know a little Mia understands people.
Yeah, she does. There's no doubt about that. And I give Jack.
And not
Jack
only
it.
that, Mia understands that beyond politics and beyond public relations and all that, it's people that
It's
she's actually
people.
dealing with.
I know the woman, she's
We
the
have to give the Prime Minister of this country her due.
Yeah. And you gotta get Stuart his due too. You
What
know?
you?
Listen.
You getting it? You
Listen
getting it
to
every
me
month?
now.
You get it every month.
Well,
I
you work for it.
want to ask
You
something
work
though.
for
I
it.
know
No,
he-
stop.
He had
Put
mentioned
jokes
about
aside.
yeah, but I didn't
Put
want to
jokes
say that.
aside. Let me hear you.
Alright, hold on. You gotta give credit to me, a team. It's a team effort.
Of course it's a team
I
effort,
mean,
but
because
she's
she always
the
for many
first person she
times,
speaks.
credit to LeVon Gilman and those in the office. And some things matter to get solved before even getting
But that's
to
what
the
it should be.
I know, so it should be, as you
Yes,
know,
it's
but
a woman.
it should
Competent
but
people
somebody
in
don't- You say it
position.
should be, but wait, wasn't so for you, man. Come
I would
on.
say that under the harsh, don't forget it.
Economic-
Also, but
The
hold on,
Democrat
to
Labour
be
Party
fair,
was in
It
power.
was so for David Thompson.
Of course, Lord, you got to talk about Thompson. You gotta
I
talk
know
about
give
Thompson.
Thompson.
Yeah, he's people version also.
Thompson was everywhere. Thompson was everywhere helping
Thompson,
people.
Thompson was a real leader.
So what do you get from there? Thompson to front of the shirt?
He died.
From the shirt.
There was a death
I
between
would say
them.
that from the shirt is a gentleman. He's an educated gentleman, and let me tell you,
You don't want
he may
gentlemen
not
politics. You
true.
want- you want- you want
He may not
persons
appeal with
who
some
care.
people, but he still appeal to a lot of people. He's one
Nah,
man
he
can
wicked.
walk around. He can walk around Barbados with his head up. People will still respect him.
He can't get so how you know that knows.
Was they saying? Hold on. Was they saying? Was they saying? Was they saying? It's saying Beijing?
Need to change. It's time Bajans need to change their vote and vote for the third party. The two party has not done anything for the poor Bajans.
Was I disagree?
Was
with
a
you?
good-
Hold
I can't agree with that. Can't agree with
As
that.
of this minute, and soon, sometime this month,
Mhm.
Beijers will see a couple new garbage trucks. One or two were delivered.
How long they were waiting for these garbage trucks?
Hold on, take it easy.
How did the DLP
One, two was delivered already.
Nice.
Recently.
Nice.
And there's someone on the way. I will not state the number because I will leave that to the powers that be to state the number.
As the ranking and identifying BLP member in his red shirt this evening, was a very interesting.
The losing team, Manchester United.
Man U win today actually 2-1, beat Tottenham.
Alright, hold on.
Good. Red for Man U.
Let me talk.
Good.
Let me talk politics. Was I ask a question here? How
Yes.
did the DLP steal the money as claimed by the
But
DLP?
well said. Because from what I know, no minister.
I asked you.
Sorry. Let me hear.
A simple way to check. There are a few ministers that you can check and see based upon their spending. Their spending is more than. Hold on!
You ask the man to
The
tell
man is
them.
not-
You ask the man the question.
Hold on.
Definition
Based
of
upon their spending, you can check and see that their expenses
Their alleged spending.
is more than their income.
Alleged.
Alleged.
And-
What about investments? What about investments that
Are you calling about
and the
here?
net worth that some members of parliament had before they came to politics?
But then again, we did not know that because, well, there were persons that were supposed to declare assets. That piece of legislation was not.
It wasn't agreed. It wasn't ratified. It wasn't
So,
ratified.
well, persons came to power with $1, $2, $3. Nobody knew. It's
Remember we got a case with Mr. Ennis and some allegations about.
Yeah, there's allegations. You do get allegations.
With a break.
That's not Barbados.
I know it was too Barbados. You can't.
Is that happening in Barbados?
No, hold on.
And you know
It
that
was
insurance
transferred
company is
from
also owned by the government.
Allegedly.
Hold on.
Is it not still owned by the government? Insurance
No,
operation
no,
in
it's
Barbados?
not.
It's
No,
not.
it's
So
owned
it
by.
was sold.
It's private.
It's
private.
By a Bermuda company.
So it was sold.
No, I don't
the
know.
government sold the company.
A long time ago.
Okay.
But Damani, let me be fair here, right?
Be fair.
I don't defend any politician,
You do.
right?
DLP.
But no.
He doesn't defend them.
Hold on.
But he's
Just
rational,
hear me. I'm rational
objective.
here.
He says you got
Commissioner
done.
of Police in Barbados openly said that no complaint has been made to the Royal Barbados Police Force by anyone in Barbados, and that anyone could be the government,
Private
private
citizens.
citizen, anybody, that any alleged infacilities occurred involving the gentleman's name.
Alright, question, Jermaine.
Hold on.
Question. Are you aware, or do you know of? Well, are you aware that there are some women in Barbados that comes work with bruises?
Yeah.
They are beaten at home.
Yeah.
They never went and made a report to the police station, but you know they were beaten at home. So because they never went and make a report, they never get beat. But
No, we're not saying that the money.
Yes,
But remember the burden of proof.
Yes or no? So Simon, because she never went and make a report, she never get beat.
I never said. I'm not saying that. But
So you agree, right, that she did get beat, right?
I'm saying she's been beaten, but I can't confirm. or deny
Exactly.
as her
There's
husband.
no confirmation as
All
yet.
right, hold on. But turn down. Hold on. Just to understand something though before you add in. Well, we are talking about the allegations and what's not of proof or what's not. Remember too that going on now that the Public Account Committee is looking into a number of government transactions that took place.
That were done by private entities.
Private entity and Barbadian and
That was said to
government agencies.
Party.
And now you're seeing where some people are double signatories on where
they get
double
to it,
invoices
like,
were given and double
more
payment
than
was
one
payment.
invoice and that kind of
So there's fair game to say. And by the words of also Mr. Trotman, who is the think that there have been
discrepancies.
some different,
but not by government. But not in the hand of government.
But not by your hand. You can't say not by your hand of government, but not by your hand of ministers.
Government paying for one job more than once is not.
I will listen to what I'm saying.
So I just saying that to say that there is that notion and it's questionable
I understand
in the sight of people that WellPac has now interviewed two persons for underneath the same transport board for these practices that have took place for a while, and then there's more people over the period of time.
Yes,
and I
I
personally believe that a lot of the LP farmer MPs. And a lot of, Mayor Motley said it before, that she's getting that Jesus come to the moment. But at the same time, I do believe that the government do know at this time.
What's it come to Jesus moment though?
You got time to come and say it before she grabs it.
declare it.
But let me just develop this point. Let me just a bit develop it. Well, that is also the case. What it would do is that I do believe that the government at this point do know of people that would have take place in transactions that were not fair,
above board,
were not above board, and they also, if possibly they were all ministers that probably people start calling names. However, this is not the time for it now because we are not in an election season, and I think that when you see election season, you can start to see more of the red bag moment.
I don't think so. When we see election season,
and
that's
you
right,
say,
man.
not that you're gonna see some people being, as I said, where Park is investigating people, no. But at the end of the day, I do know it. Obviously, by fear again, everybody will hear know that those things are left at the hands of the election season and not necessarily.
But my whole point. Sorry, go
Let me
ahead.
make a comment.
Quick comment.
Let me make a quick comment. Now, I can start firstly with the last thing that Kimar said. And you spoke about the fact that you will bring these allegations more or less around, not allegations, the actual charges to bring. You'll bring them around
from your
election season, right?
And don't forget, May did it when she brought letters on stage about
I understand that.
about selling Hilton and DNS.
I understand what you're saying.
Was on the board.
I understand what you're saying. That the optimal time to bring these charges is during election season because you seek to railroad the opponent, right?
Right.
However, and I am sure that based on the Turkey Love victory they probably got last year, and the fact
probably
that,
will get it again next year.
all right, well,
Next
I'm talking
couple
about
years.
that now. But based on the Turkey Love victory, Barbados, the party got.
Wow.
And as a
That's
result
ambitious.
of people letting the country, letting politicians know, let me tear that's all politics.
Which politics?
People,
The rhetoric?
people,
But I mean, if you bring in facts to me, well, they want to be a part of it.
Hold on. People, you see, it's very interesting when you talk about bringing charges or whatever it is during election season, right? Because, and I'm speaking something a matter of public record here now. One, the Auditor General also said that he made an oversight when he was talking about one buses that was the one that
Mr. BM, whatever.
And when they checked it out, the
bus
bus was
was
actually
there.
sold.
The bus was
right?
sold.
So there could be discrepancies in even what the Auditor General is
That's
saying.
right.
Number one. Number two, in 2007, on a platform in not too far from here, right down the road, by the roundabout, at about 9 o'clock the night on, I think it was the 27th of December,
Go ahead.
David John Howard Thompson, the 6th Prime Minister of Barbados, at that time only the leader of the opposition, came on the platform and he revealed what was said to be a check for $70,000, which was written from one, and this is public records, so I can call him
By the
names.
roundabout?
Yes, by that roundabout.
Yeah, we had a big minute there.
Buster?
By
When I had the by Buster?
Yes.
Yeah, I had all
When I
the.
move Buster?
No.
But we had all the block.
No, it was
block.
in 2007.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah,
At
come
about
in
9 o'clock in the night,
What do you do?
the 27th of December. I remember it exactly. And he came on and he said that this check was written by Leroy Paris on behalf of Glico to Owen Arthur, and it was deposited on his account in a bank in Spikestown. And he spoke about St. Peter Development Trust and all a whole.
So what you talk about
things.
the other check that he get to visa?
No,
he's really a opponent.
Just hear what I'm saying.
That's the way he said.
Just hear what I'm saying. The reality is that both political parties,
Yeah,
right?
man.
I saying both political parties every election, they
Red
capitalize on three single issues. Issue number one that you're gonna accuse the other party of as opposition is corruption. Right? Issue number two, lack of provision of social services. Right? So each political party can do it.
And then three mismanagement the economy.
No, mismanagement the economy, the Democratic Party don't really accuse the Barbados Labour Party of that.
No, we don't.
But what the Democratic Labour Party does come in, and I find both parties come with it, they try to invoke some form of the fear of CARICOM nationals. And your party did it last time when Prime Minister Fandel Stewart spoke about Barbados leaving CCJ. Right?
Let me
In 2013, when Apple did it, by talking about Mary Thompson. Right? In 2008, David Thompson and David Eswick, they roiled up the people of this country about the whole CARICOM issue. So it's something, there are three things that you expect. I am saying all that and say this. I understand it is strategic to railroad your opponent during election time. But if you have proof and you have evidence,
pursue it.
I don't care if it is year one or year 5. Bring the proof. Bring the evidence and lock up who you gotta lock up. If you got to lock up somebody, because Barbadians have moved on from that level of political discourse, And to be fair, if you only bring the charges in year 5, but people, I as a voter, but the question is because you know what? If you bring a charge against Simon Ali and say Simon Ali can have $10 million, this is a political ploy because by next week when the election is over, the charge gone to.
Yeah, but well, that is the case. We still know that is not going to be the reality.
How you know that?
Because
you can see future.
Okay, well, you know, split down and predict all the way you predict when I enter you, Nick.
I ain't predict nothing.
So are you don't tell me the facts? And so obviously the facts remain that while we would want to see these things happen now, it is not a case where we will.
I think the main thing is that if one of the things we want to see is the integrity of legislation. And I think Crystal Howard, I really was happy that we had the whole interview, the whole session with Crystal. Yeah. I should review some stuff and the fact that we need to have the political will to have the integrity of legislation. We also need to ensure.
Where y'all been passing news about? Where y'all didn't ensure that it get ascended to the
That is a good point. I don't know why.
Because
but even when it went as far, it was a bill. That's as far as it went.
You had a bill in part for 10 years.
Yeah, because you would have realized some of what a man.
That's true. I know about all that part.
Right. I know that.
What I do know is that when this administration saw it, there were some loopholes or some insufficiencies in it. And they made some amendments to it, correct?
Yeah,
which is important.
But it still has not been ascended to the Governor General.
Hopefully with the female Governor General that was appointed under the Democratic Labour Party. Hopefully it will be able to.
What does it make a difference who appointed?
I don't know. But what I'm saying is that there was some talk. I remember the election that just got Red Harris. Oh, the Democratic Labour Party don't like women and that. And if you look at any political organization,
you have a female Governor General and a female Director of Public Prosecutions.
And we had two female Governor Generals, Dame Nita Barrow and now Dame Sandra and Mason.
So why is it that you do not like to embrace women in Democratic Labour Party?
Pardon me?
Why is the perception of you don't embrace women?
But that's a perception. That's a perception. And the fact that we have Verla Pisa right now as the female president.
Yeah, but
we have a lot of people.
I'm hearing that you don't have 100% support. Is that true, Simon?
I am hearing lots of things too.
What about the Watchmen?
The Watchmen? They're paid watchmen. I don't know any watchmen. Watchmen or water lilies.
Hold on before we go.
I don't know any water lilies.
Is it true that your next leader will be running for the St. John, for the city of St. John?
I cannot speak to that, sir.
No,
I have no mind.
You get right, Simon is the guest tonight.
As the guest, that's fine. That's fine. We talk.
But I said we just all of our viewers, we just been a little bit facetious tonight and just been a little bit hype more so tonight than ever. And we want you to know that this is what's to come next year. Because next year brings us closer and closer to the election and the gathering and every other thing. The gathering. So we want to, we just want to look at things that we do for the year, and we also want you to let us know some of the pros and the cons of what we did on the show, where you would like to see the show
definitely
better. Some of the guests too you would also like to see on the show. We are the only talk show on streaming. I think we are. So Facebook. On Facebook Live, and you know that there's other radio shows as there's.
Are you going to ensure that for the new season that we are also on YouTube?
All the videos will be uploaded to YouTube so persons could go back and watch. So definitely we will be on YouTube. We won't be able to stream to both, but we will stream to one and send to the other.
So you can't stream to both.
No, unless we want to pay the fees attached to streaming to all medium platform. Okay. So it is.
But let's talk about 2020 and vision. The whole concept for next year's gathering.
Well, before we get there, I would like to hear you guys before we get there weighing on the whole controversy now as it relates to the Miss Ram situation. We hear that it has escalated and it went back to the court. So the court have asked the government and
to
also Mrs. Ram to sit down and talk. But for what we're gathering from sources out there is that the government and also from when
the building is condemned.
When the AG spoke, we saw that there was negotiations for about 15 months that went sour. We always see.
But that's expected though, because the attitude that you usually see from Ms. Ram, that's expected. But it's unfortunate for the last, Simon government didn't see to do anything about it. I know she's a reverend as a Dems.
Which part we talking about?
I think she supports all these.
Which part we talking? But I mean, when I look at the buildings, especially I wanted to touch more so on the buildings.
I want to look at the law. Before
you go any far, right? Before anybody goes any far, and you just said that is it's sad that Simon's government didn't do anything about it, right?
In terms of the building, that way I asked you.
We got an injunction against the building.
Hear me for a
We
second.
can build Hayat.
Hear me for a second.
No, the building.
The
building.
The building itself.
The building.
You know, when they heard they had this seal, I was like, "Are you going? Was it me? Going in that dusty, nasty place?"
Hold on.
I didn't even know it was as bad as it is now.
Hear me for a second, right? I am going to be fair here. I don't think that we should blame politicians.
You always try to be fair.
No, we should not.
All fairness.
We should not blame politicians for allowing the situation.
Right, the health
at the
inspector that should deal with
this
it.
RAM thing, because if you listen to the AG, they had safety violations in terms of the fire service highlighted them.
Town and country.
But you know,
But they never shut
Ministry of Housing.
Administration never shut
But you
her.
know, for no,
but what was even more concerning for me, when he said that the water was cut off for 2 years.
And they had 4 lines.
So the question
For illegal lines.
So what I want to say here is this, right? Instead of us sitting down here, I find, and I can be fair, it is easy to sit down and beat up on politicians.
That's right.
Right? Because Miss Ram, believe it or not, that building was in operation
For 25 years, bro.
25 years, of course.
Right? And when the Democratic Party was involved. It is not the job of any politician in Barbados to
regulate buildings.
any building.
To regulate
That
buildings.
is the job of town and
EPD.
country. It is not the
EPD.
job of any politician in Barbados to go and see
Health
the sanitary
inspector.
conditions. That's
No.
health inspection.
Funny enough, you saying about the politician, do not think I remember when my memory serves me correctly, when the liquidation center,
You went down.
the one behind the BTA car park
Yeah.
was
John
called in.
Boyce and Don Wayne
John Boyce and Don Wayne went down there to just like they went in the sea to assure Barbados that.
No, John Boyce never went in the sea. You mean it was
yes,
Richard
yes,
Seeley?
Seeley
It was
and
Richard Seeley.
John went down there.
John Boyce made see.
John went down there.
What challenge are the current minister to go in the sea now or by taking and swimming in the
Yeah,
sea?
Wait, you want me to see him?
But to be on topic, I
He's a fish?
I operate a building next to Miss Ram for years, huh? And for me, I made complaints after complaints, and I always
About
said about the whole rodents and the whole.
But you don't have food in
It was into the street.
Okay.
Rodents eat bush, wood, anything, boss.
I met better.
Computer parts, anything they find men for eat. And I always said that that these buildings, especially when they go into them, as well, because sometimes she's the closest to get anything you want anyhow, and she's next door to me. And I always said that you can't. India's a mess. You're stepping over electrical cords, 1 million electrical cords on the ground, 1 million, and I think that over the years that these things should be looked at. Now, I mean, it's different. No, we only speaking on this condemning, and I saw that the several agencies went and condemned the building and said that how the building is and what's not. And that for me is funny because the authorities are doing their job. I however feel.
Did y'all hear Miss Ram's response to it?
No, I don't, not yet. But however
I
feel.
heard it today as well.
I however feel though that I still hold the authorities accountable.
Yeah, already have to be held.
And I'm not talking about politicians. You're talking about the authorities, in PD and the ministry level people should have been held responsible for years. You're talking where labor law come in now and saying that it's not even fit for people to work in.
So where were you for 10
Where
years?
were you for 10, 15 years?
or
So at the end of the day, these things should have been looked at. Well, if the government compulsory acquired Miss Ram property, no, it should have been compulsory acquired, and we should not even be talking about whether the building condemn or not. We should be talking about the compulsory acquired.
Then we talk about
The Miss Ram buildings, and we saw it too. Not only know about how she conduct the business of the affairs of the people that even she worked with. We saw it when the Africans were staying at the Casa Grande, and people were bathing in pools.
No water, nothing.
Yes, people fetch pictures live direct. People were fetching water from pools. And these when Minister Ford went out, they had to save the poor children and stuff like that conditions. So I'm just saying that.
But to be fair on that one though.
Well, you want to pay the bills?
No, hold on. I will be fair on that because when the whole story was investigated and all that, the fault didn't necessarily lay Miss Ram.
I'm not talking about the fault of the children. Hold on, you don't swing it to be the fault of the children. Hold on.
There's a gentleman now that is in prison in Barbados.
The Indian.
But
that's right.
He was the one who was racist.
But no, stop. I mean, the condition which they were living under fell at the responsibility of the landlord. Well,
the landlord said he wasn't paying rent.
Well, they were. Hold on. Well, they weren't paying rent. But at the end of the day, you can't make people live in a inhumane position.
Because when you hire your late cut off by Leonard Power for the homeless, he had an issue with it. Saying that Leonard Power shouldn't do it because X, Y, and Z. No, it is that you have humans that come from a different country into our country. There are guests, and he agreed that all the people want it.
No, but guys, I want to get back to the primary point. I'm going to get back to the primary point. The primary point that a lot of people in legal circles are looking at. How can any government compulsory acquire land, but not for government purposes, but for the building of
if you
a
want to know, you're not lawyers.
Hotel.
Go speak to lawyers. You have a bunch of lawyers. You go ask them. You're not lawyers.
But you know, legally, Miss Ram has grounds to stand up.
No, she
you
doesn't.
cannot compulsory.
She doesn't. She doesn't.
Let me acquire.
Is the hire a government project?
No.
Is the hire a government
project?
project?
No, but you can't. But hold on, you can't say that she ain't illegal because the court have already ruled that the government could take possession, which the government has. So the law is about. It's not illegal.
The law is illegal.
The law is saying that you can't compulsory. Government can only compulsory. Like,
but it was passed in law.
But no, listen.
So you're saying the law was wrong.
Listen,
let me respond.
Like what the Prime Minister has wants to do up by the airport, she is within her rights to do that because you want to extend the airport. And you want to extend the grounds of the airport into that squatter area. Government has the right to do that.
Let me
but because it's for government purposes, it's for the extension of the airport. Now, this new Hyatt that's being built is not a government.
Your project, the project you brought, your party brought.
I know, but what I'm saying is that when you look at it that way, legally, there's a gray area there.
Wait, sorry. I want to read what Jamal said. Jamal, you're saying advertise their job because they are doing it well. I don't understand the statement, so just give us a little bit more.
I don't know.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, let me respond to your
yes,
statement.
Please.
And it is actually clearly written in laws of Barbados. And I am very saddened, and I will tell you this the first time tonight, that a person who is here as a future and perspective MP in this country, and hopefully a minister of government, I ain't prime minister yet. Right? Simon is
I'm on my way.
Tell me.
It is written in law in this country that the government of Barbados can acquire any property
for what purpose?
Anywhere in Barbados, as long as
purpose.
it falls within a purpose which the government designates as the public good or national development. Right? Now,
and that covers also.
Simon, I can be honest with you.
I can
Because the public good at the
all right, everything you have to go on, know Jeremy, and so.
The Hyatt project, right? Whilst you may want to make it into a political football issue, right? It is a national development project because the government of Barbados, under the Barbados Labour Party in 2000,
Democratic Party.
No, between 1994 and 2008, when Alpha, as the Prime Minister of this country, designated that area down the Bay Street, when they want to do the Bay Street, all that as a
He called it the revitalization of British.
And the Democratic Labour Party came into power in 2008. And carried on the same mantra and believed in the same project that when Africa proposed.
That whole street was being bought up in.
Right. And y'all and the Democratic Party in government proposed the same Hyatt project under the banner of national development for that area. And
that's what Rogue is saying that Hyatt can fall underneath the national development.
And so now the government of Barbados acquires the property for that purpose. And I can say this to you.
Talk to me.
I can use a property that people will not look at. See some place at Sign Lane. If tomorrow morning the government of Barbados decided, you know what, you see the road down there in St. James, that we need to widen that road. And we need to do it for the public good. The government can go to Sign Lane and say on either side of the road, look, we want to acquire part of your property to build a highway, which is on the golf course, or we want to let no party hotel to build a highway.
Yeah, but you ain't gonna do that.
That's different.
No, it's not a matter of difference.
But
when the law is written, the law is not written for rich and poor. The law is written for all persons.
For balance.
Right? So the
even
reality
though
is,
the poor find a way to crack the law.
But the reality is that you cannot.
The rich, sorry.
I will defend the Barbados Labour Party for coming forward and compulsorily acquiring that piece of land. I think it's this you said that I will defend the Barbados Labour Party for doing that. And if the Democratic Labour Party had retained power in 2018, the very same thing that you here said no criticizing, you be jumping for joy.
Yeah, but she might get a big chunk of change more so than what the property value was.
No.
I think she would have gotten more money.
But her property, that's prime beachfront property, so it has
but,
some value.
But her property, I don't think the government. I don't think
the land.
But Simon, did the government say that they are willing to pay her?
No, I guess they will negotiate. We don't know all the details of it.
No, Ms. Ram actually spoke to her at length on the radio. Ms. Ram spoke about the valuation that she received, right? And
she said how much?
No, alright. Basically, the government is offering her $12 million. $12 million that she's being offered covers the price, the fair market value of the actual land,
but not
right?
the
And the downstairs.
What's the problem with that?
She want upstairs and downstairs.
She's saying that the
for that though?
No, listen. Hold on, the man, just listen. Don't be so all the same, right? She's saying that she wants the valuation
for all levels,
the first level and the second level, right? Now
she wanted by square feet.
Right.
She want over square feet.
As a person, hold on. As a person who once worked in a recoveries department and they have to deal extensively with real estate, anybody who understands real estate will know this. If you got a small piece of land, you can demand the fair market value for everything. The bigger the piece of land, right, the less per square foot you will get. You will get more money, but the less per square foot compared to that with a smaller piece of land. Also, sad to say, nobody cares if you build 6 levels inside of your structure.
Right.
People look
so you build on the square feet.
Right. People look at the square foot that the land actually, that the property actually takes up.
So therefore, I just think she's getting a fair amount for what
she's getting fair market.
Right, but she wants.
But what's he asking? She says how much she's asking for it.
Well, she said that. All right. So she said that she should really be getting $30-something million.
Oh dang!
Right.
Because you doubling the square feet.
It's prime.
It's not prime. She's doubling the square footage.
No, she's just looking at square footage, and then
she's not even looking at prime.
Also, she was looking at the.
She's Indian.
Hold on.
That's not hey. I'm on that road,
she was looking at the stock that she had on hand, because she said that she has
$7 million.
She had how much years? How much months she had to sell it?
But no, but
how much months? She should have started. Why did she start a couple of weeks ago? She should have started every single thing.
But
that crap.
But she's gonna argue at the end of the day. That's
But you know, this is my final point on this, right? The reality that I guess Ms. Ram would have to raise, and the AG and any government official will correctly say, but evaluation is based on perception, right? So someone could be a valuer, you could be a valuer.
Three different prices.
I won't pay much for a dump.
Three different prices.
It's not a dump.
What it is, it's
not a dump.
But it's a dump in
because they call
Damani, hold on.
I hope I don't come with your pen rocks.
You're right. Go on.
Hold on, I'm being realistic, right?
Go ahead, man.
Different valuers will give
a different value. So she got a surge, government have it.
Her value is at $36 million.
So what's
and the government value is $12 million. And I mean, let's be real. If the government commission evaluation, the government will always go with their valuation.
Or the lowest value will always get the favorable
because
thing.
It's compulsory acquisition. But to be
somebody say it is a dump full stop.
Tell Ms. Ram, listen to Simon Goodfriend and take the money and breathe.
Listen to me.
But to be fair,
but listen, of course, but Jermaine, there is a view within among some Barbadians that
I can see it. You got Berlin should not have come on.
Among some Barbadians, this fear that, oh Lord, if government could acquire land from a person like Miss Ram or whatever, and the way it was done,
did your government acquire land?
The appearance of it looks heavy-handed.
It's not heavy-handed because
it may not be. But the appearance of it.
It's not heavy-handed. When the No Central Bank was being built in what is known as Church Village,
yeah.
All the property around here was acquired.
The Kensington. And they moved into Barbie's Hill.
Was acquired.
But not only that too, we gotta look at these things that
the highway was being built.
Yeah, the expansion of the
But what do you have to look at too? We gotta be fair that there were talks for about 15 months.
Yes.
And the Barbadian public may not have been privileged to those conversations. You know, sometimes we are privileged to the end.
The end. We don't know
and when we see things like this happen, you would have a few that would say, hey, the government strongholding people for their property.
The
but it is not. But a lot of people did not see
the
15 months. of negotiation.
So
there's a fear.
15 months in negotiation, right? But I want you to remember one thing. This project was first proposed on the Democratic Party.
That's right.
Over 3 years ago.
So
the project was first.
Yeah, but then
the expansion of the project is now with the BLP.
But the reality is that Ms. Ram and
the
Innovation Center always knew that whenever the project gained approval, that her property.
But it was started with us.
If not, the rats would have just gone over and mingle with the tourists.
Well, I ain't getting
You ever see a rat? You ever see that rat eat you all?
Hold on, I am not.
Hello, I asked you a question.
No.
You ever see? I had a building in town where the rats eat through the wall. Concrete, big man.
Mr. Rats and Miss Boy.
Town rats. Town rats is met dogs in town run. So I tell you one.
Town rats are like cats though.
Them town rats don't play. They eat. I watch town rats eat computer part and a whole stove. Them don't play. So I'm just saying is at some point that building, and I'm glad. I would also ask that all of the other buildings be inspected.
Of course.
And not that I'm not talking for compulsory requirement purposes.
In general,
I inspect your building. You know.
You can come and inspect me for head to toe. I don't play it.
What I'm saying also is like even when we thought about, my mind just went back to campus trains and the fire. When you talk about inspecting buildings, we gotta look at health and safety requirements. We gotta look at access to proper exits.
Somebody ain't curse anybody,
That's right, man.
Nothing new.
You was more cursing though.
Where is that?
Where's this? You thought Roe Watson?
No, Osula Holder. Hi, Osula.
No, that I don't do that for you though.
You need to humble and let others speak something.
No, he said.
I think you mean the man.
He said the one. This one in the white shirt sickening. Me.
Oh, this is that part.
I agree.
That's not true.
Osula, I want to say this, Osula. I will speak directly to you.
That's
the guys have their points. I have mine.
True.
Very long. You know, he's
a what?
And I'm an objective fella, and I will not sit down and tell you that. I will not sit down and tell you that I drink red, white, blue, or yellow Kool-Aid. I drink my own Kool-Aid.
All right.
And I will say what I have to say.
That's all right, man. Don't worry about it.
All right, we bypass that comments. Right? So at the end of the day, I just think that they need to be, and I think this should be an eye opener, where health inspectors in Barbados and environmental officers and the also the Ministry of Housing will take buildings seriously, because when people make complaints, and that's the comments that has been flying all over that, a lot of conversation, a lot of complaints were laid as it relates to this building, and not just that property but other properties. And I think that the government and the workers within government needs to seriously take buildings into consideration.
Building
maintenance. Not only within government. Because I remember I was in a building the other day, and I mean I don't suffer from the allergies, right?
Skin started itch.
And itch, man, my started to cough. I feel like my belly was pulling out.
Alright, excuse me,
right?
I gotta go. So
yeah, no problem.
Okay, so
the money has to leave us. Right?
I'll take you a Merry Christmas before you go.
Merry Christmas. Right? But the thing is, I pulled my belly, and I had to literally call them and say, hey.
If you come in.
I had to call them and say, hey, you know, for real, this building feels sickening.
Yeah.
And they said, look at your building. And I was pleased to see that when I went back, you know, it was addressed. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, we have things like these here where buildings, you know, people say, oh, inspectors are being paid off, and people are allegedly being paid off, and people are whatever, and they're bypassing the mechanism of not having to go through the rigorous scrutiny that other people will go through. So, I mean, these are things that we need to look at, and they take other buildings that when people call in and say, this is a sick building, that we look at it.
Well, one thing I will add to you, what you were saying, Kimar, is you see the whole issue, out of everything that I heard from the AG, see the issue with the water authority. I think a serious investigation needs to be done here, because
they are going to do an investigation.
So that means her account is in so much arrears then.
No, but here's it.
Or that
it was cut off.
They said that the water was disconnected 2 years ago.
So what water was she using?
For illegal
water
connections. I think they said was
2 years ago. All right. The water authority knew that building is open for business. Mm-hmm. There's a law in Barbados that says that it must have running water.
Potable water.
Right? That is actually a law. You can't have got staff and you got potable water. So if you know that the water cut off, and the building open every day for 2 years, right?
No,
it was your duty to inform Barbers Authority is still a government agency. It is your duty as one government department to inform another government department that hey, the building does not have water. Yes,
you need to look into
people going to work on a daily basis.
But the building did have water. It just had illegal connections.
The other question I asked is this as well. You said it got 4 illegal connections.
Who paying for those?
No, where is this water coming from? And then
the Hayats.
It also calls into question, and you just made the valid point. Corruption. Who in the water authority was being paid off on a monthly basis? And you know how we spoke about integrity in public life. Integrity in public life, I want to say this openly, does not only apply to politicians.
That's right.
It applies to every civil servant.
So we have to do better.
So you have to ask yourself the question: who was being paid off? Who knew that water was illegally connected? And I want answers to these questions. And I think of all the points that being fair, that is one.
And what people may think that you're picking at the situation as it relates to Mitch, right? I don't think it is. I think that these are fair answers, and I think that these are people, because you were, and I mean, there were people like that were being played with, that were going to work in unsanitary conditions. And I always say that the people that are out there that are always the richest, in some cases, not in all, are always the one to get away with these nonsense. Well, the persons that like smaller businesses, they then tend to have to really blunt of getting their act together. But the big ones, they know how to pay off, and they have people within their thing.
Sula made a point here. She said she isn't the only business person in Barbados that does get breaks from places like Barbados.
True,
right, and that's what I'm saying. These things are things, and I think that there should be a lot of pages that within this Miss Ram situation. And again, I'm not dealing with the compulsory requirement, but I'm dealing with the fact that labor officers are now talking about how condemn the building. And where were there? Where were EPD? Where were all these people before?
This morning, I listened to Miss Merchandani on the radio, and the same thing that you were saying. She said, you're coming now, you're condemning me, but all these things was always going on if it is so.
When the boys in it?
So what is it that for 10 or 15 years now that everything was fine in my building?
Everything wasn't fine. I don't think she could have used the word fine.
But she made the point. She made the point that where were these people with all these reports years ago? And I say,
but listen, it's like I see people and again, these are blanket statements that are made by anybody. When there are rich people that say, and for example, let me use the DLP. There are some DLP ministers that say, oh, well, if you say carry money, show me proof. Right? And that's a blanket statement. Well, some may be true, some may be lie, we don't know. That's just a blanket, a cover-up thing. Ms. Ram may say to the same situation, hey, you probably passed my building. But when you have a building that was condemned or at the time was shut down by health inspectors, and out of the blue, 2 ministers turn up. I mean, what you could really tell, what kind of message you could really tell the people. And they reopened, even though she did renovation. They went to reopen the same day, but I'm just saying, your 2 ministers, not just one, turn up on the spot. I think one was the Minister of Health at the time too. And I think turn up on the spot.
John Boyce turn up
and Don Venus turn up. So what I'm just saying is it can send a message to the staff within the said ministry. You know what? This woman, she's untouchable because she got friends. Also to the fact, no, I'm not saying that people can be affiliated with whatever parties they want to be, but also she was a front seat sitter in all of the Democratic Labour Party events. And Francis, so I'm just saying, for some people, it's looking on as political because people were sitting there, and we can speak. Okay, I get you, Ursula. But what I'm just saying is, people could have meshed and married you too. That when even at the certain during the election, you could have seen her spotlight in at the Democratic Labour Party camps and events. So, while that may be the case, we could have seen that within the Democratic Labour Party time, she would seemingly be untouchable.
Well,
even before then too.
I wanna say something here, right? Well, say on Sunday, the Democratic Labour Party is in power. I know the Barbados Labour Party is in power. It is the duty of a civil servant. Like I'm gonna bring a classic case here: the Royal Barbados Police Force. The Royal Barbados Police Force executes its duties regardless of who.
For bias.
The Royal Barbados Police Force, if tomorrow morning the Royal Barbados Police Force gets a complaint from Simon Ali that a current minister of government can't raise money, and they're using current for purpose, the Royal Barbados Police Force is obligated to investigate.
Yeah, but the law, our constitution isn't written like that.
No.
Because a minister can't carry money.
Well,
legally.
If somebody presents evidence.
Very good.
Very much. Yeah.
Right? If somebody presents
the constitution protects
of money laundering.
And don't forget, a minister is protected by parliamentary privileges.
No, a minister is protected by parliamentary privileges inside of parliament.
No, that's
different. Parliament does not have immunity. You got me law.
What?
Yeah.
Talking beer crap, baby.
No, it's true. A minister is protected by
name a minister in this country that was charged in or out of parliament.
There are ministers in this country who had to go to court for traffic claims and all sorts of things. A minister, as a minister, and you don't have to take my word for it, call any minister of government, no. If they know the law, that they are protected in parliament. So a minister can shoot you in parliament and get away with it in parliament.
Some attempted to.
But
I know that.
On exiting parliament, the police will detain that person.
That's right.
And I will also let you know the only person who can invite the police in parliament to do anything
is a minister.
No. The only person that can invite the police in parliament to do anything is the Speaking House. And the police must be assisted by the Chief Marshal of Parliament. You got the law. That is the law.
That's investigatable too.
No, that's any minister of government. You see,
some of it created using Trump on this show.
I like about myself. I actually take time to apprise myself with the facts.
The facts. Because facts speak. You can't go by your say.
Yeah, but I got to apprise myself with facts. I can move back sure that I do facts check.
You do fact check.
I want to talk about the whole 2020 and the gathering.
Yeah, we talk about that before we wrap up.
Yeah, I really must say so. The fact that you're inviting Bajans back home. And I like the fact that we have a lot to showcase.
Definitely.
As a nation, I'm hoping that it has a lot of financial benefit to small businesses.
Hey, bro.
There are a lot of small businesses out there trying to sell food, trying to host events and so on. I am hoping that with everybody coming back.
Before you go any further, right? You think about the whole concept. You got to be very careful. Think about the whole concept. Gathering 2020, all right? You're inviting Barbadians to come back home, all right? The last time I checked, when Bajans come back home, they don't get all-inclusive resorts.
True.
They usually go back into their communities.
Families.
Right? A Barbadian that comes into Barbados will not.
You might got some Barbadian Yankees that don't know Barbados.
No, I agree. But to be fair, most Barbadians that come back home ain't interested in going to sign in.
No.
They're going to rum shop.
That's right.
They're going to the hot dog cart, man.
They're looking for Miss Spit Shop before it closed down 10 years ago.
They want sugar.
So Barbadians that coming back home want things Barbadian.
Yeah.
Because they tell I miss my Barbadian stuff.
So
I can tell you about the adult. Once Gathering 2020 is successful, small businesses in Barbados next year
should do well.
Will reap a lot of benefits.
Small to large, small to medium.
Yeah, I can make sure my company is there to get the facts as well, to track the
facts.
My company, I want to be able to track ask people how they feel
there's always an argument
and stuff. I collect data.
I
want collect data so that every prime minister decide to do another regathering, she would know that the data people are things. I want to put out there the government pay me to do data.
Simon, I want to ask a question, and this is not to poke at the Democratic Party, but what is it that we had a government in power for 10 years?
That's right.
We have a government in power now for 18, 19 months, right? And for some reason, I started to ask him last week. I wanted to ask him that question. The same things that the Barbados Party is doing now, the Democratic Party could have done. The Democratic Party could have brought a restructuring program for debt. The Democratic Party could even come up with the same regard.
Well, I think that they
come up because
they have alternative views. There's some of the ideas. There's some things. One thing that Mr. Lashley said that came out that was clear was that you got a cabinet and you might have good ideas.
You got a cabinet here now too. You actually got a larger cabinet now.
Yeah, but we clearly see that there is more control, or there probably is
somebody talking.
No, somebody. I would say that whoever's leading the cabinet,
no. Not whoever's leading the cabinet.
The Prime Minister, yes, of course. The Prime Minister that's leading the cabinet now clearly has an idea or a party whip or whatever to get things done. I know everything is most things that have been mentioned as mission critical are being attacked, and that's important. But in the greater scheme of things, I think that to some degree the economy has turned the corner a lot more.
And the country feels a lot
of course,
more.
but the last 10 years before, economically was harder.
Well,
it really was harder economically. Nobody can tell me different.
I'm going to say one thing, and to support your point where the economy has turned.
Yeah.
On January 1st, Barbadians, if you don't know, the tax rates in this country are changing.
Going down?
Unlike when the Democratic Party was in power, really speak going up.
Yeah. To recover.
The top tax rate.
Is this corporate tax or are you talking about people's tax?
Corporate tax, like, for a lot of people.
Corporate taxes, this is
individual
personal taxes.
Like 70.5% will drop?
No, I think the rest can be the top rate earners in this country will pay
more
only 28.5%
of their
taxes. No, rather.
So it's cap taxes now.
Third.
So it's cap is gonna
Yeah. So I for some reason I get touched a little bit in the
But what I'm hoping though is that
these are real.
Even when the money, even though you get baddies, you get lower taxes. How the money can stay in the economy and get circulated.
But
what happens sometimes is that you give people tax breaks and the money.
No, but you gotta be fair.
Barbados are more savers than
you
them.
You have to be fair. The way how money leaks out of Barbados, right? Is either by people leaving Barbados through the airport, or people spending through credit cards.
Or you bringing people like Sanders that book everything outside.
No, I'm not talking Sanders. Right? But what the government, I like the strategy government came up with. One, you introduce the tax on credit card transactions.
Yeah, so every transaction you make.
You mean foreign currency transaction.
So the government has basically said to you, you can spend whatever you want outside of Barbados.
But we can get sent out of it.
But we can get
we gotta get it sent out of it.
Right?
Fair enough.
Number one. Number two, the increase in the increase the air passenger.
The hotel, the levy, that was a new tax.
The levy is one thing.
The air passenger tax has gone up, yes.
Right, what's call it? The airport taxes when you leave.
Yes, departure tax.
Yeah, departure tax. I think that was it. So the
You want to pay that?
Yeah.
That already includes my ticket.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, but
but the reality is that the government has said you could leave Barbados and spend whatever you want to spend, but you can pay some money in Barbados, right? Number two, the government increased the bus fares. I am in full agreement with that move. Right, because we need the buses.
Mercedes Benz.
But we need Mercedes Benz. But we need the buses.
But to be fair, the entity has to become economically sustainable, right? I am also in full agreement with the government increasing the water rates.
Hold on, I got a comment here that this guy.
Why you want to see is
Jamal saying why don't we have a talk about what young entrepreneurs don't make it because of poor government structure.
That's a good discussion, Jamal.
We will definitely touch on that.
Shortly.
Yeah, we will touch on that in the next episode.
But Jamal, boy.
In the next, when we touch back again next year, we definitely would have a call. We think that's a conversation.
Of course, and probably invite a couple of young entrepreneurs here.
I want a question here. Osila Holder said he's saying he don't drink Kool-Aid, but he drinking turbo. Osila, can you tell me what that means? Because I want to know. That's a real.
Osila, what you can do is just message.
That's a very serious point.
But no, what I'm saying is this. I understand the importance, and I can't be a hypocrite. The last administration, taxes were in place. They're trying to get revenue, of course.
Sucked.
It may have sucked, but
the
it was
the only tax the government.
They can't make favorite corned beef and still ain't come back though.
Hold on, I will say this: the only
tax
that the government of Barbados should have kept the Miamali administration, and I was in disagreement with that one.
Yes,
I would say the NSRL.
That is direct revenue. That's direct revenue. That's direct revenue.
I'm glad it was abolished.
No, direct revenue.
No. If you understood the concept of the NSRL.
But the government does have like an NSR, just they're collecting taxes now in several different areas by increasing it.
But no, Kimar.
Well, listen.
Listen to me, Kimar.
NSR, I can see NSR as being still here, but at the end of the day, it is being split up now into like the room levy. It could be split up now into the 2% on foreign exchange.
Listen,
but that tax was heavy, boss.
No, listen to me. The tax was not heavy. What was heavy was the response from the private sector.
The tax was heavy.
But probably it was not explained.
That was heavy.
Hold on, let me be fair, and that will be absolutely
I
fair.
don't care if you fear. It was heavy.
Let me hear Julian Paul.
Let me explain this tax to you because I think a lot of people in Barbados did not understand it.
It wasn't about explain.
I don't want it to be explained. No. I didn't want to explain. No, because we ain't got time.
Let me say.
Because I remember bringing in a packet in Barbados that cost me $27 online, and when it came here, NSRL was higher than taxes alone, and I got charged $177 in taxes for $27.
You let me explain.
I don't see it as necessary right now to explain because you're not the Minister of Finance.
No, but I don't need to be Minister of Finance.
But I mean, we don't need to explain
because
it now.
the last Minister of Finance did not explain it
properly.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not.
The current Minister of Finance did not even take the chance to explain it.
But why were there? So why would you explain it?
Because. Look,
I mean, it's not necessary. Closing off it ain't necessary.
Let me tell you why I will explain it.
Jermaine, I don't want it.
No, listen, Kimar.
Go ahead. Okay.
And the people out here say they don't want it.
Let me tell you why I would explain.
The collect test direct at customers, all right. Instead of VAT every 3 months.
And the merchants.
They should have kept the concept.
Merchants in Barbados
keep up noise.
do not pay in the VAT.
That's it.
And that is the reason why the government of Barbados, BLP or DLP, will tell you that they have a $300 million deficit with the collection of taxes in this country.
But that's one of the reasons why Brown was set up to collect revenue,
to centralize it, because agencies were not sharing information.
Not I don't know the concept or don't understand the concept. I'm just saying I understand it very well. What I'm just saying is I'm glad it went through the door.
No, I am saying
I didn't say I don't understand it because it affect it affect the bigger boys, and I think if you keep the NSRL on the bigger people that does do the more heavier like the massive group and thing. They're the best boys to have keep the tax on, but small people like us was seriously affected.
I want to say a question. I want you to be fair. You think that them businessmen, I gonna say openly, you think them white men close them stores and businesses in Barbados for a day because they want to stand shoulder to shoulder with poor people over here? This was a business decision.
Wait, how about
it was a business decision.
They said the dems were not good for business.
I guarantee you, the NSRL.
I didn't have the time.
The NSRL forced businesses in Barbados to pay their taxes upfront. And you know what? They because they were so accustomed to saying the government, I don't have the money to pay VAT now.
But here's the problem.
As much as we may want to curse it, look, it was one of the only good decisions he ever made.
But at the end of the day,
you want me to say something? If we had kept
it wasn't a good idea.
He said before that I was not a big fan of few tax at first, but
it was a way to remove some of the tax burden.
Correct.
From the citizens of Barbados.
It did not. Did not.
But no, you know it didn't. Because when the businessmen got the chance, and let's be fair, the NSRL was 10%.
10%?
It was only 10%.
That felt like 100.
It was 10, man.
No, you know what it felt like 100? Because the businessmen in Barbados were bringing a product for $10. 10% of the 10% NSRL was $1. So usually they would bring a product for $10, and usually you try to make an 8% markup after factoring, trucking, and all that. So the price of product is $10 when you bring it to import, and by the time it get to you,
that was far.
What the businessmen did was that they hear the government bring in the NSRL.
Up it, man.
So the government should have then, if they're bringing in the NSRL, should have legislated properly that price items don't skyrocket.
No, but hold on. They
carried a basket of goods.
A basket of crap.
There was still a basket of goods.
A basket of crap.
There's not a basket of crap.
A basket of crap.
The basket of goods.
That basket of goods was not the normal thing that the BHS would buy.
That's true.
One or two items was a recognized item.
The basket of goods were over 400 items.
Of what? Items that were used in the water,
strawberries, rice, all this.
Strawberries. How much people in Barbados got 4 strawberries?
Apples.
How much people? You know a pack of strawberry? A pack of
$9.99 at Shop Smart.
A popular now go out there. Oranges selling go out there 6 in a bag. Tangerine now 6 in a bag for $7.99 I think.
You ain't gonna take them brands.
But you ain't got a brand for it.
Kimar, to be fair, the businessmen in this country use the NSRL as
As
excuse
to skyrocket
prices.
And that,
and
you want to hear something funny?
hold on.
When the current government of Barbados, and I will make this point. The current government of Barbados removed the NSRL, those same businessmen
keep the prices,
who put their staff to walk against the NSRL, kept the prices at the same NSRL prices.
So,
and you know what some even do? Like there are some entities where they had a TV for $1,600. They knew the NSRL coming off. So you know what? Overnight they carry pricey TV to $1,800.
So and then
NSRL they bring back on $1,600. And you know what? You know what they did by doing that?
But they did that for that mark black.
They tricked. I call it
but Jermaine,
tricked the consumers of this country.
My point remains. The NSRL was bad for business in this sense. Not about marketing. It crippled the poor people. Because they allowed, the government of that day allowed prices to be skyrocketed. I know when businesses heard about the NSRL, I didn't know businesses in this country, that they triple inflation on prices. When they heard of the NSRL, when the NSRL come and after the NSRL, people came on. You understand? People in this country triple their prices because some people did not know what was the NSRL amount. So people put on a left 5%. When it came, people put on 5 more percent, and when it was enough, people put on 5%, and when it came, people put on 5 more percent. And it crippled the poor people in this country.
But merchants made money.
Well, the government made good money where we did not see where it go because we
but they were servicing that. They were servicing that.
Servicing that.
They were servicing
that with the rates. Yes. But what I'm just saying, obviously, you're going to service that if your interest rate was a balloon.
You had to service the
but at the end of the day, can I get that? But what I'm just saying is.
But we had loans from IDB, they didn't use it for the roads.
Yeah, but the DLP didn't use it. We use it. The BLPs use it when they come to office.
Fair enough.
But at the end of the day, as I sit down with consult boards, I can tell you certain things. At the end, the NSRL did not do Bajans any favor.
No. The
merchants. I'm not talking about. I said Bajans. I mean the average man. It did us no favor. I believe that even Fair Trading Commission did not step in enough to regulate, or did not even step in to regulate prices in this country to make sure that even though the NSR would have been a great idea because of the direct taxes being collected, it should not have impacted the country at the level.
I keep on hearing people in Barbados saying Fair Trading Commission, this and Fair Trading Commission.
They investigate complaints.
Do you know the function of Fair Trading Commission?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I've used it several times.
Is the function of Fair Trading Commission to regulate prices?
The Fair Trading Commission can step in to any cases that it relates to as it relates to person using services, consumers affairs. That is what it's there for. I could call there today and say, hey, they cut off my light. And I think that is unfair, and they can make it. I've done it several times, and for when they shut off, and within 2 minutes my light would be back on because where they saw folk play or where they saw where it was not being dealt with properly, they can step in. The Fair Trading is a regulated body, so don't tell me that it is not there.
Fair Trading Commission can step in because Fair Trading Commission regulates the Barbados Light and Power. And the Barbados Light and Power operates with the Fair Trading Commission.
Right, I don't want to veer off on the I don't want to veer off.
And say this is out of scope of the standards.
Correct. So you're trying to tell me then?
No, I'm trying to say.
It can go into a supermarket and say, hey, your price inflated.
No, you can't.
They can't force it to bring it down. They have right to do that. They have right to investigate anything.
Fair Trading Commission tomorrow. And you said, listen, supermarket A got high prices, which is jacked up, right?
Comparative.
The Fair Trading Commission will guide you to the Department of Consumer Affairs, right?
It doesn't matter. It plays a role then.
No, in that department, they got something known as price inspectors.
But alright,
who will go out? And that is
my argument?
So do not.
What my argument is? But at the point, no, they didn't fair enough. The Fair Trading Commission is there because it can bring guidance.
The Federal
So
Trade
at the end of the day, nobody really use the consumers of fair, you know.
Yes, they do.
Hold on, nobody really use. People use fair trading because fair trade is always marketed as the watchdog as it relates to price and oversight. So while you hold on, but while you
say this because I am a commissioner.
I understand that is beside the point. But I'm just telling you what Beijing know. Don't come with what you know. Come with what Beijing know. But every Beijing may say about a lot of things. You understand? But at the end of the day, a lot of things may say for me Beijing. You understand? But my thing is, my thing is, at the end of the day, the NSRL did not do any favor, and I don't want people to walk about telling themselves or Sinclair to walk about telling themselves the best thing he bring out is in NSRL because while it should have been, and I agree with collecting the prices, finding a way to collect the taxes before it hit out of the port. But at the end of the day, the country should have been protected. I think that
you mean consumer protection as
well. Consumer protection. So I think that just like if you neglect your children, I feel with that NSRL, the country was neglected because the consumers were allowed to do whatever they want, however they want, and nobody was there to say to the people, you're doing dog to the people. That 400 basket of goods could have gone to the toilet and wiped my ass with because it made no sense.
Nah, that's not.
You understand? Because when you put in things like strawberries, up in there,
macaroni and everything else was in there too.
What I said, you hear what I said? But the reason why there could have been a basket, but it became a basket of good, right? They became a basket of good on rocketed prices.
I disagree.
Yeah, but
so even if listen, all right, let me use an analogy here. We're gonna go back to what my man here saying, right? So let's say that the tuna used to cost, and it was before it was in the basket of good, it was $1.99.
Mm-hmm.
But by the time it get into the basket of good, it's $2.89.
Whose fault is it?
NSRL and Chris. But here's what
you know what can't be NSRL.
So you can't put it in the basket. So you gotta leave. Hold on. Let me get a point. So you could have might as well. Leave it out of the basket of goods. No, hear what I'm saying. And charge me my 17.5% VAT on that, and it will still not be too right? You get what I come in. Look at my analogy. Don't look at it in the way. I'm just saying, if last night before NSRL came on, it was at $1.99, and if you put VAT on it, it would have only carried to $2.15. But in the basket of goods, it is $2.89 VAT exempted, but $2.89 it did not do anybody any favor. But because the me, just like the analogy you use with the TV, that it was at
16, 18.
They can say that's the same thing that happened.
Well, let me explain something here quickly. The NSRL, we talking about the basket of goods, those goods which are exempt. Right? Now,
wait, just read this here quickly. This is your Osulu.
Welcome to the Barbados FTC Active Image Consumer Protection. The division serves as one of the guardians of consumer rights. Officers of the division provide public education awareness, investigate consumers' complaints, and seek amicable.
I love you today,
where possible. The division also monitors any promotional material released by businesses. We had another comment earlier by Rogue Watson. A supermarket can make the environment as comfortable and put a mark upon it. Hence why persons still shop at a particular supermarket and not another one.
Alright, no.
Thank you, Osula. Thank you very much.
Let me make my point.
I appreciate you.
Let me make my point.
Osula, sorry.
If you walk the tuna, the tuna is I think is one of the goods which were exempt on the NSRL.
For taxes.
Fantastic.
But not for NSRL.
No, it was exempt.
No, what I mean it didn't stop it from getting up there.
No, but
the merchants got
it.
The merchants got it.
But hear what I'm saying.
My favorite tuna go on it.
The merchants in Barbados use the NSRL as a boogeyman. And as an excuse
to jack up prices.
It's not even jack up prices.
So would benefit.
You know it's called it? It's called price gouging.
Price gouging.
David Thompson spoke about it in 2008. He called it a nasty form of consumerism.
And it was, and NSR made it the worst, nasty.
The NSRL did not make it worse.
It made it worse.
Kimar, I can be fair. I can be straight.
I don't care if you be fair or straightforward or backwards. You hear what I tell you though? I still felt it, you know.
Right?
I bought more food. In that space of time than you could ever buy in a lifetime.
You know who you have to blame? You gotta blame the merchants. Chris. No, you can't blame Chris. You gotta blame merchants because Chris Singler was the Minister of Finance. Chris Singler.
You don't need to rub that in. We know who he was.
He was the Minister of Finance. He proposed a tax, alright? And he said this is how the tax will be applied. But the merchants in Barbados,
so you should have protect us with the act.
Hold on, and there's zest not to pay any taxes. Right? Try to use it as a proverbial boogeyman.
Correct. Okay.
And then
who gave them the ammunition to do it?
They riled up the masses. But you know, to be fair, at that time the Democratic Party was very unpopular.
Very unpopular. Yeah.
The Democratic Party. So the merchants capitalized on that fear and realized because the merchants knew that under this NSR regime, all this money that we was withholding from the government monthly taxes. We gotta pay. Because if they don't pay the money,
you can't get it. And I agree. Right. I agree with the principle of it.
I want to be fair.
Serious?
Do you think that merchants in Barbados should have the right to bring goods from the port, sell us as consumers, charge us back,
whatever they want,
charge us all sorts of things, and keep the money in the pocket?
I
don't compensate the crown the money.
We can't say that they make compensating the crown. Might not be compensating the crown at time.
No, some were not compensating crown.
Right, some we can't say all, but what I'm just saying is,
and I can say this comfortably because the government was owed $300 million in VAT.
So the money went exactly.
Collect the VAT.
Right.
Why how you collect that?
You shut them down. Just like how you could tell me that if people land tax and you can sell the house, sell the supermarket.
But I know that had that tea with it. But part of the legislation did, but more so with land tax. The legislation is there to seize assets.
And I agree with it. So we still paying that? Right now we still paying NSR and we will always be paying NSR for a long time to come.
Why?
Because unless the Barbados Labour Party find a way the Democratic Party gotta find a way. But unless the Barbados Labour Party find a way to regulate these prices as it relates to price gouging, because there's also something within the FTC that it talks about the competitive pricing in terms of if you pricing like you can't bring.
You don't believe anti-competitive.
You can't even bring a US price to match a local price and win with it, right? Because I did some research on that for a company that you can't bring a US price and compete with it against a local price. So you can't bring something, say sell it for $9.99 and I sell it for $50 in Barbados, and you saying this might think that way. A lot of the fast food restaurants are, and that should be called convert to the Beijing way of selling things, right? But what I'm just saying is, NSRL would be killing us for a long time, because unless the fair trade, the consumers, the fair, or whoever regulatory body start to look at these things. Because when I remember, you know what made me think about pricing?
You remember the NSRL gone and the price is still high, right?
Correct, that's right, and that's what I was saying. But you know what made me look at pricing in Barbados on a serious note? And I would tell when I start looking at pricing in Barbados from time I was probably about 11, 12. When I start buying Wiggly gum and I used to see 5 cents for it.
Yeah.
Oh, so you really
and it was getting robbed. When I used to go to Mars, I said 5 cents, and it was at 5 cents, 50 cents, and then it went to $1. No one is Wrigley string them now in a pack. Almost $2 for one, and you still see the 5 cents on it.
9 cents on it.
Yeah, 5 cents. 5 cents. So I knew from time that was the case.
But
your eyes was getting jacked out.
Right, so Kimar, know that.
And they have service-oriented businesses.
Know that you recognize that people always get jacked out in Barbados, right? I can be fair to the Dems. I can be fair to the Bees now. The Democratic Party tried to find a way to address that issue with the NSRL. The Barbados Labour Party came into power and heard the concerns of the people of Barbados and removed the NSRL. It still doesn't negate the fact that the businesses still ain't paying taxes.
That's right. And not only that, they were given.
But that's the Barbados Labour Party knows to come and do that
too.
So what? And hold on. What the Barbados Labour Party then went about doing is trying to spread the burden. But my tone on it, and the people of Barbados will say this, right? The issue isn't trying to appease everybody. The issue is going after what is really happening, right? Businesses in Barbados like to declare on a yearly basis sometimes that $50 and $60 million. No, some declare that $50 and $60 million in taxes, right? But even after
made.
No, they made $50 or $60 million in taxes. How they then avoid paying the government the taxes would be through a lot elaborate. I can call it elaborate setups. So a man will come and say he got a conglomerate. He made $50 million in taxes. But no problem. But the way how he sets up the businesses that you got 50 different businesses. So you got 50 different businesses making $50 million in total, alright? And everything in Barbados is classified as a business, including the holding company. Alright? So then he decides, I make $50 million in taxes overall, but because your structure is set up, you gotta charge me taxes individually. And you know the law speaks then differently as to how you can charge the company taxes in Barbados.
Correct.
So ordinarily, I can't remember the exact figures, but ordinarily if you made $50 million in taxes in a one company, and you were supposed to pay, I think, the top tax rate, one thing Barbados was 35%, you're supposed to pay 35% of the $50 million, which would be $17.5 million, right? Because of the way how you structure your company, you might end up paying $1 million in tax.
You avoid that.
For the whole 50.
That's how Trump do it.
How much you claim you give?
Exactly.
Yeah,
so I am saying you that the former government tried to find a way to go out.
It didn't work. It sucked.
No. What didn't work was the public relations campaign that was mounted by the government and the
PR failed too.
and the business community in Barbados came together and mounted a platform against the government and the tax because they realized that the government
was weak on that.
Government finally found a way to put them in line.
Correct.
Well, fair enough.
Well said, Jerry.
All right,
So
everyone.
Christmas greetings to everybody.
We want to send out our Christmas greetings.
I want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas and a prosperous 2020. I hope that this Christmas, in spite of all the indulgence, please, moderation. Know your limits. Don't drink too much.
Stay away from rum and coke.
No, you can have a rum and coke once in a while.
No, I want to
But don't overdo it. And most of all, let's spread love and do good for your fellow man, you know?
Well, guys, I am sad to say to you that I don't celebrate Christmas, but I will say to you, happy holidays. My birthday is also a Christmas day. So,
it is?
Yes.
Oh, man, that's good.
This
Mine
year,
is 3 days
Also,
after.
that's why you don't celebrate. You basically celebrate your birthday.
Mine is 3 days after. I'm born 28.
28, okay. So,
okay.
Happy birthday to you.
Mine is a couple months back.
Okay. But this year I'll be 35 years old.
Oh, man.
And I feel like a sprightly 16-year-old.
All right. You got the socks to match.
You know, you're funny. The other day, we tell a girl the other day, you look like 16 and she took offense.
But that's good for her.
And I was like,
she don't want to look young?
She's like, she don't
She's
want,
trans young.
She don't want to seem that young.
Oh, she's trans old.
Yeah, she's old.
Trans
Well,
young.
I also want to say that I want to wish Barbadians well for this season.
Yes, please.
And for the new year, I wish everybody to just be happy, make some positive resolutions. And one point I want to touch on now before we actually leave here.
We're wrapping up, Joe.
Right, I know we're wrapping up. We have had 47 murders in Barbados.
Don't talk about that.
I would like to plead to Barbadians.
Don't kill nobody for Christmas, man.
Let me just be in love.
Don't kill nobody, man.
Do not
Customer want it.
get into any
My body
more
is getting cruel.
End this thing. You understand? So let me just be good, be happy, relax ourselves, and go into the
you need
new
to
year.
behave.
But you got Gathering 2020 coming up.
The peace and love and good vibes, man.
Peace, love, good vibes. And one thing I also want to say.
The second thing.
The second thing, pray for our children because they
Oh,
need
yes. And the
All right.
parents, too.
And on behalf of Kimar Stewart and the Manny, Small, that had to leave earlier, they know they want to wish you guys a happy Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year.
Oh, yeah.
From me and the DeBrief team, we really had an exciting run. We really
Thank
enjoyed it. And then at the end of the day, we really want to thank each and everybody that really contributed to the show. As I said, we are a chat room group that came out and started to speak. You're going to hear a lot more what you hear at the beginning, a lot more cross-talking, a lot more quarreling, a lot more pestering next year. It's going to be hype next year because we really can get into these skins or some topic next year. We really going to watch it.
Violence for sure. Sorry, I didn't go into violence.
Yeah, and what we are also be doing next year is allowing people to call in on the show. You could actually do it from the live. People could call in live.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, and share their views as well. So we be back as soon as the year pop though. In the New Year's.
First week or second week?
Probably first week, second week. We'll see how it goes. a second week so that the Simon can get on his belly.
You're right. Asking for an invitation. Don't worry, Rogan.
We will bring you on for sure. That's fine.
Come on.
But we really want to touch on some serious topic next year. We really want to look at things.
Violence, man. Don't say that. We just.
Yeah, we had violence on it with Mario Bruce and early shows.
She's saying that we reviewed on it, talking about violence.
But yeah, but we talked about.
I just spoke about 47 murders.
And then we're going to see what that says.
Realistically, we don't want any form of violence in Barbados.
No.
We want Barbados to be better.
Correct.
You know, and I will say this to you: what I'm going to ask everyone out there is to recognize that the Royal Barbados Police Force is doing their job, and we need to lend them the support.
Yeah,
that's right.
Because if we don't give them
support,
support, they cannot go and execute
that's
their
just the first
duties.
step.
You know, so we need to support the Royal Barbados Police Force and ensure that if you see something,
you say
something.
But also, what we could do is if we do need to come back on the show for any particular reason within the now and Christmas season, we will as well.
Yeah.
If we see something that's burning and we will need to address it. Our following has been, I said we've hit over 80,000 engagements within persons watching our videos and talking with us and connecting with us. So the show has done really good for us. The show that did for Tracy. I thank the guys for being consistent. Well, the guys were not always on time. You know, Simon is a traveling worker as well as a traveling public member, right?
Yeah.
But we could also appreciate that. Guys have things to do, and we're all doing this out of the kindness of our heart. We're not being paid voluntarily. And we really want to hear from you.
I think next year we need to have at least a Sprite.
A Sprite or rum and a Coke.
A juice or water.
Yeah, we need to have.
We need a sponsor.
We need a sponsor. So if you have a small business out there and you want to bring some drinks and some cookies and some conkeys without raisins and with raisins.
Yeah, no, the conkeys with raisins.
Yeah,
conky without raisins is not conky.
I don't eat conky. I don't eat dog food.
What?
Cornmeal is dog food. I don't eat pap.
My dog food.
I don't eat pap. Oh yeah.
In our home country, Jamaica, blue draws are made out of cornmeal, but in Barbados, conkeys are made out of corn flour.
Yeah. Yeah, but
so you need to know. You see, I am also well versed in the culture of food.
Yeah, but
go man.
But we want to thank everybody. Really do. So we want to wish everybody happy
Merry Christmas
and a happy New Year.
Wish you Merry Christmas. Nah, not too cheesy.
Nah, not too cheesy.
Right?
Oh, okay. I don't celebrate it either to that extent. I don't celebrate, but I do celebrate the festivities and all of.
Oh, so you don't celebrate Christmas? Oh.
Yeah, it's like I don't eat pork, but I eat ham, and I don't eat chicken, but I eat neck.
I don't see that analogy.
You will never see that one.
You eat steppers.
I don't eat steppers either. I don't eat
neck.
I don't like to get step in.
So you eat
I eat thigh.
You eat pigtails?
I love thighs. I don't eat pigtails. I don't eat pork. I only eat ham. Right.
So you eat ham but not pork.
Correct. I don't eat ham.
So what's the difference?
Different one taste. The
process it goes through. You know, like I don't like the D's, but I like.
But you guys, you know, like this, so you vote for the twice.
I did.
And you using some of this show.
I voted, but
you were under duress, or was it you vote?
I was under duress. I listened to my mother. She said, "Go there, son."
Really?
But we want to thank everybody that tuning in. Turkey ham, right, Rogue? You got it covered. But I mean, eat pork. Pork ham. I don't like turkey neither, so I don't eat turkey ham.
Eat pork ham.
Right? I eat pork ham. So, guys, we want to thank you everyone that tuned in. I want to have a blessed good night.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Happy holidays. See you guys in the new year.
Everybody.